For the past 2 weeks, I've been working 13-hour shifts at my job from about 7 o'clock in the morning to about 8 o'clock at night. And while I personally don't think this is a large amount of time to invest in a job, I do know that this is much more than the 8-hour shifts that most people are used to, and I will admit that I've been experiencing quite a bit of burnout and exhaustion because of my job. So, what job could possibly be worth investing this amount of time and experiencing this amount of exhaustion? Hello, my name is Reginald, and this is RegiCast. Today I'm going to be sharing with you what it's like to work in sales, as well as why I still do this for a living, especially given all the struggles I've experienced with it over the years. I know this video might be a change of pace for some of you, so I do hope this video is valuable to you, especially if you're considering a career in sales or are just curious about what salespeople do on a daily basis. So, without further ado, let's begin. Working in sales is not as simple as I originally thought it would be, especially when I was a kid. Yes, sales involves smiling and dialing, setting up a fancy dinner with a worthwhile prospect, and getting as many people as possible to sign across the dotted line. But I've been working in sales for quite a while now, with over 3.5 years of sales related experience. I've sold door to door, I've sold in retail, and I've sold in an office over the phone. And while there are clear differences between these sales jobs, all of them required me to go through the process of selling while juggling other responsibilities I didn't realize I signed up for. For example, my life as a retail salesperson was probably the simplest sales job I've ever had. All I really had to do was make sure that people who walked through the door walked out with something in their hand, whether that be clothes or a company credit card. But even then, I often had to do things that someone with a different job title was normally responsible for. I had to play the role of a fashion consultant, giving honest sales advice to people who struggled to find clothes that looked good on them, even if that advice meant them shopping elsewhere for those clothes. I had to play the role of a cashier, ringing up orders for people even if I got no sales credit for those orders. And I had to play the role of a janitor, taking time out of my day to clean up messes other people made, even if that time could have been used selling something new. And this was my life when sales was simple. My retail job pales in comparison to the sales job that I'm doing now. For the past 2 years, I've been working as an account executive, which is the primary point of contact between the vendor that I work for and its clients or potential clients. In other words, account executives are responsible to keep current clients happy while also bringing in new clients and sales to the company. And since I'm held responsible for absolutely everything related to these vendor-client relationships, a lot of my work days are spent on things that you would normally expect from an admin, a copywriter, a project manager, or even a supervisor. I spend a portion of every workday responding to client issues as they come up, and I work with my admin team to resolve these issues. These include things like scheduling and rescheduling client deliveries, making sure that clients receive technical support in a timely manner, and escalating bigger issues clients are experiencing to the proper authorities. I also create the sales proposals that will be used in upcoming client appointments. I invite existing clients to events that my vendor wants to host. I follow up with subject matter experts on tasks I've delegated to them. And I keep these subject matter experts on track during client-facing appointments so that they do not derail the sales process. And let's not forget my actual job as a salesperson. I still need to make phone calls, send emails, and set as many client-facing appointments as possible, all in a mad dash to meet the sales quota that my company expects from me and the sales goals that I have for myself. Every single day, I'm dealing with a workload that can easily be broken up into multiple full-time jobs. And I often end up working long hours every day because I've experienced the painful consequences of letting any of my responsibilities fall through the cracks. Yet even with this extra effort, I often have to make hard decisions every single hour on where I'm going to spend my time. Do I make a few more prospecting calls, or do I deal with that paperwork issue that I know I've been avoiding for a while? Do I send some emails or check my emails? Choices like these mean that there is always something that doesn't get done on time, and I pay for that. Sales is a very exhausting lifestyle, and hopefully you can see why. So why do I still work in sales when it is this difficult and this demanding of my time? Can't I find something else to do or somewhere else to work? Well, I could, and I've definitely thought about that a few times, but besides the obvious financial benefits and the extra commission money I see in my paycheck for a job well done, I still have some unfinished business I need to take care of before I move on to a new role. Ever since I was young, I dreamed of being wealthy, of being business savvy, and of being one of the top performers wherever I went. And as awkward as I'm finding it to say on camera, I do have that need to conquer that many successful salespeople have, and I still want to accomplish those childhood dreams. I'm also slowly learning how important sales is to business and to the world. This is because business is basically just the process of providing valuable resources to people in a way that they'll pay you for, at least in my opinion. And if that's the case, then sales is the process of convincing the people who need the resources you have to offer into becoming your customers. When it is done right, sales becomes humanitarian. It helps allocate resources throughout the world, and it increases the quality of life for the people who are struggling before receiving the resources you provided them. Sales also indirectly creates jobs and provides salaries to the people who need them because of the manpower a growing business needs to provide more resources to more customers. In contrast, businesses that fail to sell will have to downsize and eventually close their doors. And if enough businesses fail to sell, this may lead the world to experience an economic collapse, which is something that does not sound fun to me at all. Unemployment, food shortages, and global panic are just some of the things an economic collapse has to offer, and I honestly don't want to live through anything like the Great Depression if I can help it. I may just be acting like my usual dramatic self here, but the fate of the world does seem to depend on how well I do at selling. My job is important, and I do want to live up to that importance, even if long hours and exhaustion are the prices I have to pay. And if I can live up to my childhood dreams, I don't mind that at all. So that's it. That's all I've got on this topic, at least for now. Hopefully this gives you a better idea of what it's like to work in sales and why it's so important. I will say that sales is not for everybody, but if you do feel like you're up for the challenge, I definitely encourage you to consider a career switch or a job switch to sales and take advantage of this big opportunity that's available to you. I definitely plan on making more sales videos in the future, so please leave a comment and let me know what you thought about this video and if there are any other things related to sales or business that you would like to hear more about. And if you're someone who works in sales or in business, I'm definitely looking forward to reading your comments, especially if they have to do with your experience in sales or advice that you have for people who are considering sales as a career switch. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.